Hello, beautiful people. Today I'm talking about something I've covered in the past. I think it's a key part of our journey, though, and so I want to focus in quite specifically on that point. And it's the question, and I think it's a powerful question: who is the real you? This has massive significance in my mind because when we start our journey of growth and development and better understanding ourselves, we quite often come with a lot of labels attached. We have lived our life, taken action on certain things, or we do certain actions repetitively, which then creates identity statements. I'm an alcoholic, I'm a smoker, I'm a vapor, I'm a partier, I'm a outgoing person, I'm a lazy person, I'm, no good at deep and meaningful conversations, I'm lost, I'm confused, I'm worthless. We can have positive and negative statements. I did try and sort of think of a couple on the fly there. The key to this question, though, is being honest with ourselves. And when I say being honest with ourselves, I'm not actually talking about acknowledging what we think is negatives. It's actually about removing the negatives. It's removing the identity statements that aren't us. For example, something that I relate strongly with is I'm an alcoholic. In the past, I've really struggled with alcohol. I was drinking considerably, and that wasn't who I am. That was not the real me. That was just me coping. That was just me using that as a self medication. But again, it was not the real me. And so it's it can be really challenging for us to be honest with ourselves. And the key is to be honest with ourselves. And so we want to reflect on what is the real you, who is the real me, and try and reflect on the actions that we take that really are not our own. So, a lot of us, as an example, a lot of us go to a university and study and learn, and then we come away and we don't even use it. Now, some of us, of course, I want to acknowledge, will do that, but we struggle to get in the door, right? We can't get our foot in the door with the career path that we've chosen. I did experience a little bit of that at one point in my life. A lot of the time, though, we do these things because we feel they're expected of us, and it's not actually really what we want or who we really are. So again, the key question that I come back to is, who is the real you? When we can really become aware, raise an awareness within ourselves of who the real you is, we can start making better choices for ourselves. We can start making choices on even things like hobbies, and doing things that bring us actual joy rather than fulfilling something that we feel is expected of us. So, of course, it plays into hobbies, but it also plays into the connections we make. If we have a better idea of who the real us is, then we make better connections. We can connect with friends and networking, even with businesses and just people in general, and have a better understanding. As well, we can start to make better choices about partners as well, if we're single. If we're not single, then going through a journey of uncovering who the real you is will involve a lot of conversation and communication in a relationship, right? Because when we start to discover who the real us is, we will start to change. Potentially, we might be on in alignment with where we're going already, and that's awesome. And I really want to take my hat off to people that have managed that. That is significant. A lot of us, though, are walking down the wrong track, and so we'll be with a partner that is from, shall we say, a previous version of ourselves. And communication here is key. We want to communicate the journey that we're going through and hope that at minimum the partner can understand the changes that we'll go through, but also hope that we can inspire them to take the same sort of action. Of course, there is the challenge there as well, just getting a little distracted, but there is the challenge there as well that we can't, just because we're doing it, we don't want to create expectation on them to do it, right? Because then we're not doing it of pure intent. We're not doing it just for ourselves. We're doing it in hopes that they're going to try and do it. And that kind of reminds me of the Mr. Nice Guy. I know I've done that in the past too. I did some personal development, and it was actually really that I felt that my partner at the time should be doing personal development, and I hoped that in me doing it, they would do it too. So we've got to be careful there as well. But I digress. So, of course, when we know ourselves better, then we can make better connections. We can network better with people. We can start making better decisions with our partner, or start dating people that are more in alignment with where we want to go and who we want to be with. And all of this is, in my mind, very significant. All of it comes back to, though, being honest with ourselves and being able to remove all of these negative layers and look at who is the real me. You know, what do I like to do? What actually brings me joy? What activities have I not tried yet that I want to try? Now, of course, the caveat there is that if you haven't tried them, you might not like them when you do try them. But again, if you've been curious about it, try it, because you never know. Life is exploration, right? In my opinion, life is there to be experienced, and experience can only be had by us taking action on the things that we want to do. So go out and try these things. And when we know ourselves better, as we get to know the things that do work for us, the things that are easy for us that are hard for other people, we start to build self-worth, and organically from that, confidence as well. And we show up better, we show up more honestly for people. And I can speak strongly to this. As I've got to know the real me and accepted those things about myself, I've started to lose my Mr. Nice Guy traits quite considerably, and I can confidently show up in a conversation when connecting and networking with people. I still haven't done a lot of networking, but I can show up strongly, and it's so incredible. Just to give you an idea, just to give you an idea, I used to work for a business coach, and I had personal assistant style tasks when I was working for this business coach. I had to make phone calls to his clients. Of course, I used to shit myself when I had to make those phone calls. I was so insecure, so lacking in confidence and self-worth, and felt I was just so intimidated by picking up that phone and calling pre-existing clients. This wasn't even a sales call. And I've gone from that to sitting here and making these kinds of videos, and speaking from the heart, speaking with truth and honesty, and trying to live life with integrity and pay forward these beautiful messages. You know, nothing that I'm saying is original other than my version of my story of what these experiences have. Oops, I've lost myself there. Nothing that I've said is original other than my version of that, my story relating to these points. I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants and just using my experience to pay it forward and hope to influence other people. So again, take the time to ask yourself, who is the real you? And don't focus on the negatives. We want to work out what makes you tick as a person. What's the positive stuff? What gets you going? And start building an identity that you actually want that's based on your truth. Anyway, I'll leave it there for today. Thank you very much for listening this far. Cheers, team, and we'll talk again soon.